Quick question. So you don't believe the men over 40 that end up getting married didn't weigh the pros and cons?
Well, they're not waving the pros and cons the way that the guys are. The younger guys are now. They're
So,
only waving the pros and cons of, do I think this woman gonna be here, and do I care enough to want to be with her?
well, I can tell you that I completely disagree with that. But these are the pros and cons that are weighed. Do I want a wife, or do I want somebody that I can smash on the regular? Now, if I want a wife, then I'm out looking for a wife. If I'm out looking for a wife, that means I'm paying for dates and I'm doing all the things that I believe men are supposed to do, like paying for the dates, picking them up, paying for the gas. You're spending your time. You're doing all of these things. So if I'm going to do all that, how long am I going to do all that? Am I going to do that and stay away from marriage? So I'm going to do this forever. And when you weigh it out, when you weigh that cost analysis out versus actually having them live with you, you'll actually see a huge savings. And I can actually, if I grab my other computer, I can pull up a spreadsheet for you. Um, Second, the the other piece of it is I wanted more than somebody to smash. That to me is a real easy task. I wanted someone around that could do some of the jobs I needed done that I found I didn't have a lot of time to do, especially while dating. Do you know how much time opened up when she got married and moved in? You know how much more of my time actually opened up? I kind of have an analysis on that, but it's not in detail. But I saved a lot of time, and now I don't have to keep track of my own schedule. This is anecdotal, but it's going to the point that you'd be surprised of the amount of thought, effort, and energy that actually goes into the analysis of, do I want to get married or do I want to remain single forever? Like there was a lot of thought put into it. The third point I'll make, prior to, I was paying for everything anyway. I'm paying my light bill. I'm paying my house note. I'm paying my car insurance, my phone. I'm paying for all of my stuff anyway. So by bringing her in, and I'm glad she did decide to keep her job, because she does actually help when she wants to, because I don't require her to. She actually manages the bills. It makes it so much easier for me. You know how dope that is? When we're talking traditional, that's about as traditional as it gets. I don't even manage the bills, bro. Like, that is so awesome.
Yeah, but
That
that's
is
only
the amount of
contingent.
stress, that comes off of you as an individual. You can't put a number on that.
Yeah, but
You,
that's
but I
only
was, but again,
contingent.
I was looking for a wife, and I set standards and boundaries and lifestyle standards. You got to have that conversation about what kind of lifestyle do you want to maintain. Do you want to live in a $500,000 house with all of these extra amenities? Because if that's what you want, I'm not the guy for you. You got to be willing to have those conversations, and she's got to be willing to sign up for those, for that stuff, right? What I think you young guys miss is a lot of the little stuff that you kind of take for granted because you just do it because you have to, because it's just you. You take for granted how much stress a woman actually takes off of your shoulders. I had a physical the other day that I didn't even schedule because I didn't even realize my physical was due. Like, this shit is crazy, bro.
But that's only
Like, man,
contingent.
woo,
That's only contingent on a woman that has those skills and the desire to do those things.
a
A lot
wife.
of women that just because
That's
she's a
what
wife, it
that
doesn't
was
mean
his
she's going
point.
to do that.
That's his point. You're supposed to be looking for a wife. A
Yes, but a
wife
lot of
will
guys
have
don't
those
know what a
skills.
wife look like.
No, you should. If you wanted a wife, you know what to look for. AP knew what to look for because he said, I was tired of being in the streets. I wanted to settle down and I wanted to have a wife. When you get that mindset, the type of women that you will entertain, the type of women that you will even be looking for totally changes. And I
That is a
think
fact.
that's where the young people get it wrong. They want all women to be accessible to them and then pick and choose from them to say, all right, I want this one to be my wife. And she's not wife material. That's just the woman that you want. That's not wife. And then they end up marrying her. The marriage don't work. And then you blame her and say, oh, all these women are for the street. But that's what you chose. You didn't choose a wife. A wife is already going to be a wife before you actually marry her. That's the thing. She's going to be showing all of those skills and abilities, aptitude, all of those things prior to you ever marrying her. And men, like what you said, they when they run an analysis, somebody had told me something about there's this thing called analysis paralysis, where you spend so much time trying to analyze everything that you don't make a decision at all. And I think a lot of times that's where maybe some women and men get caught up and why they end up getting in a relationship where they're just there 12 years and nobody made a decision to do anything. So you're pretending to be married and not necessarily making a true commitment to do that.
Yeah, it's paralysis by analysis.
Okay,
You
yeah, something
you
like that.
yeah, you done thought so much about this thing that you're just like, yeah, I'm just not gonna make a decision,
Mm-hmm.
right? But listen, I agree with you, but that's the reason why people are having the conversations that they're having now. That when you ask AP, people ain't having these conversations in real life, or these not the ones that we had, right? But now that they're bringing it on the internet, and now they asking these questions because these weren't questions that were broken down in this fashion. What people did, they had a like a kind of social like thermometer. They would like they would look at a woman, like guys would look at a woman and be like, they wouldn't ask her what her body count is. They would observe how she moves. How does she do this, that, and the third? So when the guys make the argument, ain't nobody talking about, body count like that, da da da. You're right. Nobody was talking about it, but now they're actually talking about the things that you would do without saying anything about it. So now a lot of the people in the internet are getting a lot of flack because they're asking questions that people don't ask in real life. When all they're doing is they're doing what you used to do, but they're actually putting actual words to the things you wouldn't ask, but you would try to assess without actually asking those questions. So the reality is a lot of people that were married in their earlier years, like they had somebody that went through the struggle with them and they were able to make it. And it was a 50-50 deal. 50 of the people made it, the other 50 didn't, right? Some people was like, in 5 years, I'm out. The other people that make it past the 5 years, they had a larger chances of staying in that relationship and actually making it work long term, right? So I think besides the nuance of this new generation and trying to convince people, because now at this point, because of fear on both sides, men and women, there is some level of convincing people to want to be married, because from their perspective, even when you quote the stats, if you're telling me that it is a flip of a coin that this could be either the best decision of my life or the worst decision of my life, I think if I'm going to make this decision, I better be damn well sure about who I'm picking.